Hey there, everyone. This is Algal playing Open Canvas 1.1 as I speak about Christians that are in themselves in a .txt file. It's like, what? Unless I guess that we're gonna start. I guess that also. Thank you for the summary. Bonjour, Vache. Je pose ma question en français parce que, sur les mots comme tabarnak et simonac, tu dis pas grand-chose en français. Ma question, ferais-tu une vidéo 100% français pour le fun et la confusion? Signé Alix Shinoda Fortin. Honnêtement, j'y ai déjà pensé plusieurs fois, même dans le futur, de faire juste une vidéo random dans le milieu d'une série entièrement en français. J'ai toujours pensé que ça serait drôle, mais la réalité c'est que je trouve que c'est un peu cruel, surtout que si je ferais ça, ça serait en milieu d'une série. Parce que, tu sais, c'est drôle, mais je me demande ce serait quoi l'impact avec le monde. J'ai l'impression que pour être fair, faudrait probablement que, genre, que je fasse des sous-titres ou quelque chose, puis il vient un temps où est-ce que ça serait juste plus d'ouvrage que ça en mériterait. Ce qui est dommage, parce que honnêtement, je pense que ça serait drôle moi aussi, mais je suis trop gentil, malheureusement. Je pense trop au pauvre monde qui m'écoute présentement ici et qui n'ont aucune idée de quoi je parle. Même ceux qui sont de la France, qui sont pas du Québec, vont avoir de la misère à me comprendre. Parce que je parle de québécois, tu sais, c'est très spécifique. Fait que c'est ça. T'as ma réponse. Oh, y'all don't know what I'm saying. Hey, Cao, if I drew a Toho for you, which one should it be? Shinmera. Oh man, that's a pretty good question. If you had to draw a Toho person for me, I'm gonna give you a choice of two characters. It would be either Suika or Kaneko. You can choose between either of them. If you don't want to choose because you just asked me specifically, I don't know. The one that has a mirror. There we go. That is my answer. Do you think Raocow? Why do you think Raocow is such an A-plus deuterino? Also, what was high school Raocow like? Comma 3. Actually, that's not a comma. That's it's a colon. Colon 3. Horikawa Otame. Horikawa, I take offense to the fact that you blame me for having 3 colons. I don't know how I got to be an A-plus deuterino. You're gonna have to ask Department of Linguistics to have the clear definition of a deuterino and what make the different classification. So I don't know what I was even trying to say there. For the other part in high school, I don't know, man. I think I don't need to hide the fact that I have always been a pretty huge super turbo nerd. However, because of my large size in both height and stature, I was mostly left alone to myself. Actually, when so I'm assuming my high school more or less started actually in right when I moved from Nova Scotia to Quebec, and basically, people were starting to, they had a first image of me there and whatnot. I was first approached by, what you could qualify as the bad crowd, quote unquote. I did spend some time and kept, good relationships with them peeps. But I never really, you could say, identified with them. I was mostly alone or pretty much doing my thing with, my one best friend. Although I did have more than one friend, but I had one clearly best friend and a few other peeps that I played video games with, mostly. Otherwise, yeah, I was that huge, quiet kid that you may recognize from any classroom ever in any place and in all times. In terms of academics, I thought school was fairly easy. And no, I said this very often. I basically went through high school forever without having to study for anything, and because I didn't know how to study, university kicked me up right in the rear, and years later, I came to understood what one of my university teachers told me, that he preferred students that were not smart but worked hard, because I was very much the opposite of that. Because at some point, quote-unquote smart stops being of any use at all in academia. You know, something or another. Serious question time! I'll pose this before I decide that I don't want to. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Shark of the day. A multi-billionaire? With a castle? The real answer there is I'm not really sure. Hopefully I'd still living in good health and relative ease. I'd love to. I hope I'm still doing Let's Plays, but let's be honest, in 10 years' time, I would have done it for a long time. I just don't see what else I could be doing, even like a recreation narrowly. I mean, if I can still be doing this in 10 years' time, I don't know. If I'm being realistic, I have very much my doubts. But otherwise, if I can be living off, like if it can spin off into like living off of art or something, I'd be just as happy, of course. But I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of ashamed at how I don't really have a 10-year plan. I'm kind of always just kind of like lived off of the back of my seat, you know, just kind of like experience things as they happened, and things just always seem to happen in a pretty good order of things to help my survivability and whatnot, which is good. I can't complain there, but you know, there's a thing down the road where you can rent dogs for telephone purposes. No, but really, I am feeling kind of ashamed that I don't really know. Like I don't have that forethought. I figure, things will be okay, but like that is just asking for trouble. So, you know what they say? No, I can't really even spin that into a joke. What have you done? What have you done? What have you done? Well, no, like, to be honest, like I said before, if this isn't working out in any way, I'm probably gonna branch off into translation, because I think I'm okay in languages. I'm fine, you know, it's not a glamorous job, like translating product, can writings and whatnot, but it has to be done. And it gives you the money, to be paid and stuff. I'm not gonna return in phone-based communication, for sure, forever, if I can help it. Question! What's your favorite sound effect? This is a serious question, alright? I need a specific source, not just a general category like jumping or opening a door. Thank you, Benjamin Krupa. That one's really easy to answer. That's brrrr sound that the door stoppers do. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I know it goes like sprrrr, sprrrr, like something like that. It's really hard to imitate with your mouth, but it's a sound effect that exists, and it is forever and forever shall be the best until the end of time and space and lobsters, all of them together now. What even am I saying there? Opening a door. How does it feel making money playing video games while talking to yourself? Dream job, so, probably answered already and I forgot. Also, did you ever get beat up growing up or beat someone up? If so, did it forge you into the stronger human being? Arthur Wishing. Sorry for wrecking your last name there. I still can barely believe it, that this apparently is enough to sustain to my basic needs and a little bit more. Like, Who would have thought, right? Like, it reminds me of that Gary Larson Far Side cartoon back in the day where, it's like I forget what the exact text was, something like, prospective parents, while they're looking at their kid playing Nintendo, and they were like, just like, imagining, like, future want aids in newspapers says, please come be hired for playing Nintendo games, huge salary and car, and all that. It feels that way, and it's super weird. It's like my brain just keeps telling me at any point any day now, the bubble's gonna burst, and it's gonna go exploding shark everywhere. And I'm kind of mentally prepared for that, because that's the thing, it feels like a dream come true, but it's some part of me doesn't want to believe it. Because let's be honest, this is a huge opportunity, like, that barely anyone ever is gonna have the chance to get, and it just feels super unreal. It still haven't. I don't think my brain actually fully understands yet, and the implication. And I almost kind of accidentally answered your other question there regarding being up. Like, I got into play fights. People wanted to wrestle me down in the schoolyard, check how strong I was. And yeah, it happened, but I never got seriously hurt from it. I don't think I ever seriously hurt anyone from it either. It was, I don't think it forged me into any kind of hell creature, alas, or fortunately, depending on your outlook. I think a question could be, do you have a dream job you'd want to pursue instead? Or if you could get a better job in terms of pay and sure things, will you do it even if it got in the way of making more than a video a day? Sapphire Crook. Yeah, I think that could be a question indeed. So go ahead and ask that whenever you want. But man, well, there's similar themes going on around in orbit today. What's up with that? Are you excited for Mario Maker? And more importantly, do you think it would have even been made if not for the creation of SMBX and its relatively large and diverse community, Fusion Warrior? I think it probably would have been done regardless. Like, I don't think we can say that SMBX was the cause of Mario Maker, because it's not a really well-known program anyways, and two, it's kind of presumptuous to think that. Like, I'm pretty sure that people requested Nintendo that kind of thing for a very, very long time. It's hard for me to get excited for Mario Maker, though. For one thing, I just can't help but feel that whatever it is will feel more limited than SMBX, and especially ROM hacking directly on the Super Nintendo. Not only that, don't know if this is rude or what, but I don't initially trust Nintendo in having the proper tools to share easily the edited levels that people can make. And let's be honest, if it's not super easy here to share video levels, like, if it's not at the very minimum Little Big Planet easy, I'm not interested. That is the cute thing, and Nintendo is so weirdly backwards with the internet that I can't trust them just on the fly. Now, we will see in due time. Maybe I'm be wrong, and I hope that I'm wrong, that my suspicions are unfounded, and that it's gonna be awesome. Because if that's the case, then you know what? It's gonna be great. But they have to prove themselves first. So I don't really get excited about it or anything. I know it exists. I more or less follow the fact that it exists, and the future will tell here. It's not something to get pre-excited, I feel, about. I don't know. Maybe I'm being pessimistic, too. It's very possible. Ruse Animations have established a character that has more or less become canon with the SMBX sort of thing. It may have some inaccuracies, such as lack of glasses and being super small, but it's a thing. Understandably so, as we don't know what you actually look like, which I kind of like, to be honest. If you were to design the character, would you stick to Rue's design, make it more accurate, change it completely, add stuff? Tinson. I don't know, that's how I pronounce 3 question mark. Going in the past, when I was asked to more or less design myself, I tend to be a bit closer to home, while still being rather anonymous at the same time, if you can believe it. If you go, like, I remember when I was doing the plate, and my avatar there that I made, basically, I was using shapes, and there was a triangle, square, and a circle. I was the circle. I was like 3 times larger than the other ones, because I'm a tall and large man, and I don't know. That's like that basically goes in the thing. So if I am to design myself once, I will probably be less detailed, because that's just how my design eye tends to go. It tends to go in more abstract places. Let me just look at demo here. No, she's a fairly minimalistic character, and yeah, but yeah, I would probably play out some things that were just at the time were not, like my size and whatnot, are just not things that are super public. Well, public knowledge is a strange way to put it, but like super obvious things they're gonna think about. Like, when people speak to me over the phone and stuff, they think I'm just like this tiny, like 5'4" man or something. And like for the longest time, people like Cloudy thought I was like a child or something. Which, that part I find funny, because I don't know, like I don't. It's true that I don't hear myself in normal conversation, but even then, like, I don't know. Well, it's true that the phone does weird things. So, phones does weird thing. If you're ever going to have a lesson out of this, remember that. Are those views on achievements and 100%ing behind why sometimes you seem to and seem not to go after those Dagadon Dragon coins unless they open an alternate path? Or is that what you draw the line at? Ben Gibson. I think achievements are fine, but yeah, when I was raised on video games that didn't have them, which is maybe why I kind of feel ambivalent isn't the right word. It's more like I just don't really care about them all that much. Like, they're a non-entity. They don't really exist. Like, they exist. They're nice things you can try, but they're not really part of the game in the way I see things. However, if you were born and raised in time, in a post-achievement world, then yeah, I can understand why a person like that, would consider that part of the game and would consider that part of completion. I'm not sure I see the relationship you're making there with like getting dragon coins. It's true that, I don't know, to me they're just like power-ups and coins. Like, you'll notice I don't go after every coin either in a Mario game. Very rarely so. Like, sometimes I don't even go after power-ups if they're too out of the way and I don't need them. I've always taken a stance in video games and whatnot. I know survival over everything. Everything else is just in relationship to the needs you have at the moment. It's just that it's true that in the VIPs, once you start to have the little meter that appears when it tells you when you got a dragon coin, then I go after them. I don't know why my brain is wired that way. I'm aware it makes like 0 sense. I don't know. I must be stupid. Don't ask, because I don't understand myself. That's, if it lights up a light, man. Like, if you very clearly see in the game itself that there's some kind of meter to fill or something, I want to see that filled. But if it's abstract, if it's not something you can check at a moment's glance, then I stop caring. So I guess the answer ultimately that it's all about appearances. So if a game had its achievement counter thing, like within the game itself, then yeah, I'd probably go after them. But if it's a separate thing on the Xbox dashboard, then I stop caring. It's really abstract and really weird and really not abstract here, but really like it's playing with words and definitions at this point. But that's just how my stupid brain goes. Are your parents aware of the fact that you make LPs and I guess make a living off of it at this point since you quit that old job of yours? And if so, what do they think of it? Croissant Wheatfield. They are fully aware of what I'm doing, that it's my job, and they are very, actually, like, surprisingly so. Perhaps even I'd go about to say, like, okay with it, open with it. Like, basically, don't see it as simply as doing LPs. Like, technically, yeah, what I'm doing is that I'm ad-libbing content while playing a video game. But that's not really any different than a lot of entertainment jobs out there. Like, it's more or less the equivalent of, like, a radio DJ and stuff like that. That's just how you gotta see it. I'm not for legal purposes, I'm not an LPer. I am a, self-employed entertainer. And that's what it is, and that's a completely legitimate field of work, and that's how I explain it to my family members, and they understand right then and there what it is. They understand that it's not for them, but they get it. And I know one of my cousins watches my stuff, so no, my uncle and aunt from there are aware of what I'm doing, and that's what I do. It's all about how you word it. If people are trying to understand, if you're trying to explain thing, use words that he will understand. Don't force in the languages of the youth. That just causes confusion, tears, and broken pots of flowers that have fallen off the windsill for unrelated reasons. 1. If you lost your arm and had to have a prosthetic rodent grafted there, would you choose a capybara? Why or why not? 2. Since you seem to like law as a link to the past so much, I do too. What do you think about playing A Link to the Past blind yourself? Clarification, you would literally play it with the blindfold on or 2 eye patches, or shove some of those dead meat boys in your eye socket, whatever floats your boat. Why would I have to replace my arm with a rodent? Most rodents would not be big enough for the purposes of which I use my arms. Like, capybaras are great, but they're not big enough. What's the biggest rodent? A beaver? Maybe I attach beavers. I mean, is the kind of long? And I could do woodwork, so at least I'd still have some kind of job. I wouldn't play A Link to the Past blind. It's one of my favorite games, but I don't know it by heart enough. And I don't want to practice it enough to the point where I'd be good enough, because I think that would be playing it too much and too short amount of time, and it would ruin everything. Stop ruining everything, internet, please. That was asked by Pengu Penguinson. I forgot to read your name there at the end. I was just too taken aback by the large parentheses at the end of the letter. On the subject of olives, which is better, green or black? Crispy. Green. I'm due to get my wisdom teeth removed soon. What was that like for you? Zio Masada. Fun fact, I still got all my wisdom teeth on. Looks like I got a big jaw that's big enough basically to contain all my wisdom teeth, and like they didn't grow all weird, like they grew straight, so everything is cool, and I still got them. See, that's why I am a wise man worthy of being emulated by the youth and internet going people. I'm so wise because, they didn't remove the wisdom part of my skull. So remember, kids, if they say that they want to remove your wisdom teeth, run away and kick them in the shin. In that order. What even is this atrocity I'm drawing here? The blocks are not even! I gotta scroll down my text file here, because every week there's more and more, like, oh my god, there's still like a page left worth. And we're at 25 seconds and I gotta hurry up. Have you tried pasta bolognese, the real Italian kind? It sounds exactly what you want. Pasta with meat and vegetables and a sauce. Of course, lasagna does too. That's less a pasta dish and more of a dish with pasta in it. IMO, sorry. What's your biggest disappointment for trying a food? And conversely, what's the best thing you've tried you thought you would hate? Adam C. I did try pasta bolognese, and it is pretty good, but it's not quite there. It's not quite there. It's like, if absolute maximum awesomeness was 10, that's like 9.5. It's just some things missing. Maybe it's a specific variant I need. Don't worry, the search is on. Biggest disappointment for food was Sloppy Joe, because in context, that sounds like it'd be perfect. But I tried it and it was just a big soggy mess. Maybe the place I got it just wasn't good enough. I don't know. And biggest surprise was a club sandwich, actually. See, I'm not a fan of chicken. I'll eat chicken because, health reasons and whatnot. Not a fan of tomato. And, ultimately it's just a sandwich. But once, in a moment of desperation, I had a club sandwich back when I was in university from the cafeteria, and it felt like the greatest thing ever. So, sort of a mundane thing, perhaps. Think that you maybe thought I'd be saying more exotic things, but sometimes it's the normal things that surprise you the most, I believe. Cricket, 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 cricket. You dig in your fridge and find an entire day old corn dog. Do you eat the corn dog? Well, I mean, it's in the fridge and it's a day old. You can reheat. Is it okay? Is the corn dog cooked already? Because I don't know if microwave it'd be good, thinking about it. But if it wasn't cooked, then cooking it's gonna be fine. Kidding aside, something I want to ask is how valuable is music to the experience of a game in your humble, weird opinion, Mathieu Fournier? Music is very important. Video games are an audio-visual experience. And even not having music is a choice and will have an impact. Just going by personal experience, there's a lot of, things I've played that drove me nuts in being impatient and whatnot due to difficulty because the music just was leaving me neutral, while others I was having a blast anyways because the music kept me driving on. The music is a drive factor. It can be used either to pump you up during action or it can be used to enhance the atmosphere when you're going for an atmospheric type of thing. Whether that's, it's just like anything, it can be done good and it can be done well and it can be done poorly. But it's part of the mix, and bad music will leave a bad impression, if anything, in your subconscious. Yeah. What's your favorite sort of location place? Like tundra, forest, cave, cardboard box, whatever. Also, is there any particular reason you chose a Reznor for the Cortex thing? I mean, beside the obvious advantages of being a giant fire-breathing Triceratops. Be kamikaze. River. I like being around water. And river also gets you land and nice plants and flowers and lizards. So, seems pretty perfect to me. And honestly, yeah, for Reznors, because, I for the Cortex thing, I knew we were going to be in the Mario Kingdom. I want to take something a bit more original. I just want to just be a toad or something. So I took a chance. I asked if I could. I just thought of the most neat thing I could think of at the time. And basically afterwards, I build up my character from the fact that it's a Reznor. And a lot of it then just kind of continued going on that way. So really, it's just no, it was, you could say also that, yes, you could say that, and I encourage it greatly. Do you like the sea or water in general? Ivan Clave or Ivan Claver? Yes, I do. I lived in Nova Scotia for 4-6 years when I was younger, and I love the ocean. I love water. Water is great. There should be more water in the land. Please sign my petition to have more water available for everyone. Come on. I mean, come on. Come on. Come on. Like the sea water in general? Yes. What contests have you won? Will Hart. One? I haven't participated in a ton of contests in my life. When I won a draw to visit the backstage of a movie theater when I was around 10 years old. That was fun. I learned a lot of things about how movie projection works. That's a thing. I tend to be, like, always being the runner-up, though. Like, thinking about it, like, is there anything serious that I want? The fact that I can't really think about it, I think, should tell a lot. Because, yeah. No. I guess not, huh? Guess not. Man. Wait, make me depressed. Does it ever bother you if you draw outside the lines? Sebastian Wesley Praske. Not really. Question, who is best girl? Salty Ebbs. That's the second time I'm asked that, and I don't have any idea what that question even means. Which is the fattest bird? Horikawa Otani again. Big Bird? Big Bird's pretty rotund around the waist, if you really look at him. What is your favorite English word, and what is your favorite French word? The lovely penguin. I remember answering Pumpernickel back in the opening the Pandora's box, and considering it still makes me giggle, there you go. Favorite French word? Oh man, I don't know. What's my favorite French word? It's Romanichel. I'll let you figure out what that means yourself. Also, a secondary question, because first you made an art request. I noticed that you have removed the store link from the main website. I'm not sure since when, however. Maybe I missed a post on the Talk House regarding it. Anyway, my reason for asking is because I was curious as to when/if you'd ever consider creating new shirts designs to put up for sale. I still own my What Are the Haps shirt from years ago and always be up for new designs to impress and revolt my friends and neighbors with. Connor Rue. The reason I had the store in the first place back in the day was because people, after I made the website, people requested it, and I begrudgingly made a few, but I never was super happy with the result, and at some point I just decided, I took the decision with Rena to close the store. Doesn't mean that it's closed forever and there's not going to be designs anymore. Probably not, but it's not in my immediate plans either. I don't really have any what I feel are good enough ideas. And, I don't know. It's just like, y'all know I'm not super fan of mercantilism, even though this is ironic a little bit considering the nature of this video here, but you know what I mean. You know exactly what I mean. What is the most interesting thing an old person has told you? DJRK16. Something my grandfather once told me when I was a teenager. Because we were doing renovation around the apartment building my parents owned. And I was given two conflicting orders. You know, I asked my grandfather, and in his great wisdom, he told me, whenever you get two orders from two different people, always take the easiest one. And this is when I realized that, man, you know what? All them adults out there, they're just normal people like me who just kind of want to get stuff done, but don't want to work too hard at the same time. And it was the moment where I realized that everyone's the same. Because, when you're a teenager, you feel like you're this weird, ill-fitting substance that doesn't quite gel with everything around you. And that just changed everything. Which is a weird thing, maybe, but I never thanked my grandpa for that because it's a weird thing to thank someone about. 2 more. Finally getting around to asking you a question here. Whoa! So, watching some of your videos, I'm super impressed by your memory. Like how you remembered so much about Parodius, even though you haven't played it in years. Or even just how much of the layout of the castle you remember when going through the upside down one in Sutton. My question is, would you prefer to have memory like yours or like mine, where I can reread, replay even my favorite books and video games years later, and it's almost like I'm experiencing it for the first time because I forget most of the story and plot twists and whatnot? Egg. No, I'd rather have a good memory. Sure, it's an advantage in the consumption of media, but having a good memory kind of has a lot of applications outside of that. Let's be realistic here. We end with some politics here for fun. Are you approximately for or against Quebec's separatism, i.e., should Quebec secede from the rest of Canada to become its own sovereign nation / country, Zaya B? My answer is, I do not believe that Quebec's separatism would work the way that people think it would. I'm not against the idea in spirit, especially because of the way that money and taxation and stuff are being spread around the country. However, Quebec kind of wants this oddball separate country that still uses the Canadian post office and money and whatnot. That doesn't make any sense. Like, the ideal separatistic dream doesn't make any sense at all. And it's either go full or don't go. I just don't think in this political situation it makes any sense, and we got way more important things to work on and fix and get working before getting entrenched into that kind of appeal. Like, we can fix a lot of these problems, the problems that make separatists want to separate without having to separate, basically, in a way that would require, I think, a lot less work. It's just that because of that whole debate, I think that the debate takes energy that could be used in actually fixing problems, because people kind of see it as this panacea, but it would create so much other issues and whatnot that people just don't talk about at all. Precisely because it would not fix anything, it would create other problems. Basically, you'll be replacing some problems with other new and exciting problems. And it's entirely rests upon the shoulders of, are these new problems easier to work in with than the current problems? I don't believe so. I will respect the opinion of someone that says that the new problems would be easier to work with. I don't agree, but I am perfectly okay with agreeing to disagree. And hate talking about politics here. Don't do that again! Holy cow, almost 40 minutes.